Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. The Newcastle takeover bid is back on. What does this mean for football? Will it destroy football even more than it has been anyway with these rich billionaires? Or will it actually make the Premier League better? Look, this was something we were talking about over a year ago. Newcastle takeover bid to hundreds of billions of pounds. Mohammed bin Salman, the Saudi Arabian billionaire. Why is it back on? Well, apparently it's because it's not going to be bought by this family. It's going to be bought by a public investment fund, which is chaired by Mohammed bin Salman. So they are going to, effectively Newcastle are going to be very, very rich. And it would be a little bit rich of me as a fan of Manchester United to sit here and say that I begrudge it. The moral issues about human rights issues and things like that, look, that's for Newcastle fans to go to sleep at night about. Everyone can have an opinion, but if it was your club, would you rather be owned by your current owners, or would you rather have the dream ticket that Newcastle are about to get? And look, that's for you to decide at the end of the day. I think most fans of most clubs would actually be wanting this sort of a takeover, because it's hundreds of millions of pounds that's going to get pumped into Newcastle. And, I've always called Newcastle the sleep. People say they're the sleeping giant. I think they're a sleeping mouse. I don't see them as a giant at all. But I tell you what, that mouse is about to take some superfood and become super mouse, because it's going to be very, very rich, and money can buy you titles, from Jack Walker at Blackburn to Chelsea to Man City. We've seen what money can do. The issue will be that this is just another lottery. Why could it not be your club or my club or anything like that? But we've seen this with Chelsea and Man City. You can't begrudge teams that win the lottery. And Newcastle fans are going to become very smug, just like Man City fans and Chelsea fans, and lots of people are going to start supporting Newcastle. We've seen this path before. We've trodden this path before. And my big alarm bells as a United fan, Manchester United, is that this is, if it follows this path we've seen before, going to be a huge issue for Manchester United, Liverpool and Arsenal in their current state. And obviously Spurs. Clubs that are big traditional clubs that don't have the financial firepower of a Man City, of a Chelsea, and now of a Newcastle. And let's not forget, Everton are pretty rich as well. Leicester aren't poor. Villa have got money. A lot of clubs in the Premier League now have got money. You see Grealish going to Man City for 100 million because Villa don't need to sell. But what you've got with Newcastle now, and I think the difference between Newcastle and an Everton who do have money, is that Newcastle are going to have silly money. And Newcastle have got a big support. And I remember under Keegan when they blew the title, they've got a huge support. It's almost like in Newcastle they don't care about anything else other than Newcastle United. So if they can attract players, and they've done it in the past, it was 25 years ago they did it. Alan Shearer, 15 million. The Les Ferdinands, the Asprilias, the Ginolas. They can do that again. They can do that again because they've got the money. So it's going to be very interesting. And my issue with it is, as a football fan of Manchester United, or if I was an Arsenal Liverpool fan, you can only get 4 teams in the top 4. GCSE maths. And if it's always going to be Chelsea and Man City because of their financial firepower, and you add Newcastle into that, only Liverpool, United or Arsenal can be the 4th team. And what happens if another billionaire club comes along? Basically, it's getting to a point very soon, I certainly think in the next 10 years, where if you haven't got a billionaire owner, you're really going to be fighting with 2 arms behind your back. And that means you're going to get knocked out. So I don't think Newcastle with money means they're going to win the league. Man City have got money. Chelsea have got money. The days of being the only billionaire club, and that, Blackburn won the title that way. Chelsea sort of did as well. Man City did. But Newcastle can't just come in and be richer and go, we're going to win everything. Man City will still be able to buy good players, so will Chelsea. So will United to a certain extent, but under the Glazer regime, the Glazers are very much about making money. What you're going to get with Newcastle is another massive takeover where they want to win. They want to win a Champions League. They want to win a Premier League. And if I was a Newcastle fan, I'd be very excited this morning, because the chances of you winning a Premier League 2 weeks ago were next to none. The chances of you winning a Premier League when this takeover goes through is massive. You've got more chance of winning the Premier League than Arsenal, Spurs. You could argue they've got more chance of winning the Premier League title than United, but in United's current form, United should be challenging for a title, so I wouldn't agree with that. And I wouldn't agree that they've got more of a chance than Liverpool. But in 5 years' time, if this follows the Man City or Chelsea path, Newcastle are going to be an established top 4, one of the best teams in Europe. That is the path that Man City and Chelsea have trodden, and that is the path that Newcastle are going to tread as well. They already have the stadium. They've got they've now got the money. It's going to be massive. And I just want to say as well, there'll be a lot of jealous people because that's what happens in football. Am I jealous? Look, I'm jealous of any club that's run properly, and Manchester United is not run properly, and I'm sure Liverpool and Arsenal fans again and other clubs would say the same, certainly Spurs. Of course there's that level of jealousy there, but I can't begrudge what it must feel like as a Newcastle fan to, because they have been through, they've been through these years where they think they're a big club, and I don't think they ever really were. Big fan base, but not really acting like a big club. You're now going to have the tools to act like a big club. And it's exciting for the Premier League, I've got to say. I'm probably, I remember when Blackburn got the money and I actually thought, oh, that's quite exciting. It's competitive. When Chelsea got it, it's competitive. Man City was a bit boring because it was basically just grab any old club. But with this Newcastle thing, I think it is quite exciting because ultimately, the Premier League to me is very much Man City and Chelsea are going to always be the favourites because they've got the ruthless owners with the money and they demand success. Another club coming into that arena is interesting. But look, Newcastle United, Manchester City, Chelsea, they're not really traditional big hitters. The traditional big hitters in the Premier League are Liverpool, Manchester United and Arsenal. And those three clubs in 5 years will be fighting for fourth, because I really do believe that if Newcastle follow the Chelsea and Man City route, then they are going to establish themselves as fighting with those two. And the new powerhouses is about being owned by billionaires who treat you like a bit of a billionaire playground where it's about how much can you spend to win. I mean, look, it's not even Man City against Chelsea, is it? It's Abramovich against Sheikh Mansour. And if you get this Saudi family involved in Newcastle, then that's the battle as well. It's billionaire superpowers against each other playing football, and that's the new world. And if you are owned by moral owners what's moral ownership? The Glazers would say they're moral, and the owners of Liverpool would say they're moral. There's no point in being moral ownership. And what I mean by moral ownership is that financially moral. They have morals. We're not going to overspend. We're a business. We're going to live within that. Well, hold on a minute. Some fans will like that and go, I'd rather be owned by a club that does it properly. Well, the Premier League doesn't allow that and aren't bothered about that. And also, again, you're not going to win any titles doing it that way. The reality is the Man Cities, the Chelseas and potentially the Newcastles of this world are coming in to fight against each other with a big checkbook. You can't then sit there as, an owner of another club and go, well, we've got a business to run. We're not going to spend money. Yeah, you've got a business to run. Who's worse? The billionaire who comes in and says, look, we just want to win and we're going to spend money to win, or the owners who buy your clubs and treat it like a business? Who are you more in touch with? You're more in touch with the people who are like you, who don't give a toss about business. They want to win. So therefore, if you're a Chelsea fan, you're more in line with Abramovich than United fans are with the Glazers, or the Arsenal fans are with the Cronkies, because the Glazers and the Cronkies, they want to make money out of your club. Abramovich wants to win. So, you know what? Your moral ownership about, not overspending, you're just getting mugged off by owners who are treating your football club like a bloody business. Where does all this moral ownership go? Loads of money goes in from the fans and goes into the pockets of the owners. To be honest with you, if football's heading this way, I would rather every club was owned by a billionaire who wants to win than every club owned by businessmen who want to make money out of the club. But that's my personal opinion. So what I would say is, look, this is a worry for a Man United, a Liverpool, an Arsenal, a Spurs and any other club that's not owned by a billionaire, because another billionaire in the party means another one of you out of the top four, potentially. But for Newcastle fans, fantastic. I can't not empathise with how exciting it must be for Newcastle. And the moral obligation about the owners and what their backgrounds are around human rights and everything like that. Look, we can all have an opinion on that. But they're not buying our club, they're buying Newcastle, and that's for Newcastle fans. And I think they did a poll and 97% wanted it to happen. So, you know what? I don't think they're really going to care, because they want to watch football. They want their team to be competitive. And, at the end of the day, well done to Newcastle. You've won the lottery. And, they've been through a lot the last 25 years, and they've got a very passionate fan base. And they've got every right to celebrate it and get excited about it. I think for everybody else who doesn't have a billionaire owner, like I say, United's, Liverpool's, Arsenal's, look at your ownership. They'll come out and talk about responsible ownership. Responsible ownership is because they want to make money out of your club at the end of the day. So there you go. Get your thoughts in below. What do you think about this for the future of football? Do you think it is going to be another Man City? Do you think it is going to force everybody to be competitive and be owned by billionaires? And what does that mean for your clubs that aren't owned by billionaires, that are owned by people who are billionaires who want to take money out of your club, not make you successful? Get your comments in below. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Subscribe bottom right hand corner. I'll speak to you in a bit.